welcome. Week 4 for stability and ease, freeing up the pelvis. So I'm hoping that you've had an opportunity to practice a few of the exercises when you think about it. And today we're just going to, again, go over the different practices and just try to make sure we understand the pelvis a little bit more. So I will invite you to get on your sit bones. So if you can, release the fleshy bits from your ischial tuberosities, and maybe start with your legs extended out and release the fleshy bits. And as you do that, I really would like you to see if you can feel your sit bones. So I'm going to invite you to put your hands back and you feel the bony protuberance that you're sitting on. You're right on the tip of your buttocks there. Those bony structures, you can feel that. That's your pelvis. And when you release your hands, I just want you to put your hands right on your hip bones and just rock from side to side. Just get that sensation there. Good. And then find your center. And when you find your center, we're going to do a slight pelvic tilt. So I want you to lean back slowly and feel the tilt. And then lean forward as you come up, straighten your spine and slightly lean forward. And then lean back, round the back and sink. So we're going into posterior tilt. And then as you lift up and lean slightly forward, that's an anterior tilt, okay? Front to back. One more time. So you feel the rounding of the back. And then leaning forward. And then I'm going to invite you to find your neutral position. So neutral will be more centered. So you're sitting right on those ischial tuberosities, right? Good. Now, the pelvis is not a solid structure, and I want you to become aware that it is, you have right side and left side, right? Right and left. And you can feel that. So that when you move, you want to always know that you're moving two different sides. So just gently inch forward like you're walking your hips forward. And you can feel right and left, right? Just get that connection, that the hip right and left, and then move back. Good. So you have your iliac crest, the two bony parts that are connected in the front with the pubic symphysis and in the back with the sacrum. So that's that bony structure. And I always just, again, want to remind everyone that I think you often hear the cue, and I know I have said it, is tuck your tailbone. So I hope a takeaway from this practice is not so much tucking underneath where you scoop and go right into that posterior tilt. It's a gentle lengthening so that you can sort of find your balance, right? So that when you energetically connect those inner deep core muscles, you can feel a lift through the front and a lengthening in the back so that you can find your neutral position. So with that in mind, see if you can find your neutral position by testing forward and back, side to side, and think about finding your neutral. So there's that gentle connection through the inner muscles. Good. So finding length in the spine and find that neutral. So we're doing it sitting. It's a little bit easier, but we're also going to experience that standing. So let's go back to the original. Also, when we're going to cross your legs, or you can keep your legs extended. And we're going to see if we can tune into the different mudras, the Ashwini mudra, right? So I like to bring my hands behind me and sink back. And the Ashwini mudra is where you gently squeeze your glutes, your buttocks, right? Your anus, squeeze in and up. And then release. Inhale. On your exhale, gently squeeze through the buttocks, the rectum, and the anus. Squeeze, and then release. Totally let go. Remember, I want you to totally relax. And we'll do that one more time. Squeeze, and then release. Good. Now, let's going into the Sahuli Mudra. Come forward, lean forward. So now we're working towards the front of the pubic symphysis. All right, so as you lean forward, bringing your awareness and attention to the front part of the pelvis. Now gently here, inhale completely, relax, and then on your exhale, gently squeeze, drawing in and up. And then inhale, soften and release. And then exhale, gently drawing in and up. The front part of your genitals. Last time. And then relax completely. And then find your neutral. So now wherever you are, find that neutral, right and left, front to back. And then in there, that hammock, the hammock of the perineal muscles, that sort of at the base. And that it is between the pubic, the front of the pubic and the anus. So the muscles in between there, we're trying to engage the mula bandha. So if you can, inhale, relax. And the exhale, bring your attention to the muscles in between and gently lift. And then relax. The inhale is the release. Exhale, gently draw in and up. So the gripping is a gripping, but not that you're gripping as hard as you can. You're just drawing it in and up. And then relax the muscles. One more time. And release. And now we're going to draw it all together so that when we're doing the work today in our practice, we're going to try to engage them all the pelvic floor muscles together. So inhale, soften. And then on your exhale, just gently draw energetically from the glutes, squeeze in and up through the inner thighs, all the way up through, and then release. Again, as you exhale, gently tighten. That shouldn't be your hardest squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now I want you to gently draw in and up, like you're wringing out a towel, and then relax. And then one more time. And then release. Awesome. All right, we're going to make our way onto our backs. If you have your blocks handy, have them nearby. We're going to come into just taking a moment on our back in supine. You're going to place your soles of your feet together. If your knees need a little bit of support, place a block under each of your thighs and just come onto your back. And as we start here, opening up the inner thighs, rest your hands right on your hip points and bring your attention and awareness into the back body. So take a moment to adjust. And if this is uncomfortable for your inner thighs, then keep your legs extended or your knees bent. But if you could open them up in the butterfly pose, soles of the feet towards each other, and feel the opening through the inner groin. And with your hands lightly resting on the inside of your iliac crest. So bring your hands on the inside of your hip points and just rest there. We're just going to take about a minute here of just tuning into our breath. So I want you to find the deep diaphragmatic breath. So as you inhale, you're going to inhale into the base of your lungs, but I want you to imagine that your breath is filling and flowing into your pelvic region. So inhale deeply, all the way into the pelvic floor. And then as you exhale, softening and letting all the air all the way out. Again, let's try to stay with this deep breathing. So as you inhale, you're filling your lungs all the way down to the base of your lungs. But I want you to imagine like you're filling up the pelvic floor with the breath and feel the expansion there. And then exhaling all the way out. Continue with this breathing. Because as you inhale, that's when your diaphragm descends. It gently pushes your belly out. You feel that expansion in the belly. But it's also working on the pelvic diaphragm. So you're also engaging same action, pressing through the pelvic diaphragm. And then as you exhale, there's a releasing. And try that one more time. So that expansion, filling your lungs, filling your belly, but really filling in that whole pelvic area with prana, this energetic quality. And then on your next exhale, gently bring your knees together, bring your soles of the feet flat on the floor, and readjust your sacrum. And take a block. We're going to do our pelvic reset. So take your block and the widest expansion and place that between your inner knees. And if you can, let your big toes touch. Hands resting on your hip points still. And we're going to do pelvic reset. So this is so super good for the pelvis, the psoas, and all the muscles of the pelvic area region. Gently rock where you're just lifting your hip slightly off the mat, rocking 8 to 10 times back and forth. And feel the release in your lower back. This should feel very comforting and very releasing in an area where you may be holding on to tightness and tension. Great. And then we're going to change the direction of the block. So take the block now and put it in the medium width in between your knees. Same action, gently rocking side to side. And pay attention to how that feels in your lower back, the lumbar spine. The idea is not to drop your knees to the floor, just to gently rock side to side. And then come back to center, and then finally take the block the thinnest way and place it in between your inner thighs so that the block is coming along the inside of your thighs. Feet now are flat on the floor. Walk your heels a little bit closer towards your buttocks. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. So there's a gentle squeeze now. As you squeeze it in, feel the engagement of your inner thighs. And then release. And then again, squeeze gently. And now this time, lift the pelvis up into a small bridge. Keep it a mini bridge and feel that engagement as you gently squeeze. And now engage as you exhale, squeeze and engage the pelvic floor muscles. And then release and lower. Relax the pelvic floor muscles as you inhale and release. And then we're going to do that again. So gently squeeze the block and lift the hips up and see if you can come a little bit higher. Feel that engagement here. Stay here for a few breaths. Holding and engaging the pelvic floor. And then release. Relax the hips, lower down, and release the bandha, the locks. And then one more time, inhale, exhale, squeeze, lift the pelvic floor, see if you can come up a little bit higher. Press the back of your head into the floor, the backs of your triceps to see if you can get a little bit higher in your bridge. And engaging all the pelvic floor muscles on a gentle squeeze. And then relax totally, lower down, release the block. Hug both knees into your chest, but separate your knees and rock from side to side. So this should feel really very releasing to the low back. Come back to center, extend both legs all the way out. So now take a nice long body stretch. Press your heels into the floor, toes up. Extend both arms overhead. Back of your hands on the floor and stretch and reach. As you do that, really engage again as you lengthen. So press through your heels, extend through your arms. Now inhale here. And on your exhale, bend your right knee and bring it into your chest. Take your hands to the knees, squeeze. And then inhale, extend the right leg, extend the arms overhead. And then on your next exhale, alternate left leg into your chest. Give it a gentle squeeze and hug. And then inhale, extend. So we'll repeat that series 2 more times. As you exhale, right knee into your chest, hug it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left knee into your chest, squeeze. Inhale, lengthen. 1 more round, please. Exhale, right, squeeze it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left knee, squeeze it in. And then inhale, lengthen. Good job. Now let's bring both knees into the chest. Bring your forehead up towards the knees if you can, as you're in that little cannonball. And then gently either rock up to sit, coming into your Navasana, shoulder blades down the back, nice strong core move. Good. Extend your arms, feel that stretch. Lengthen out if you choose to. Take 1 more big inhale. 1 more exhale. And then place the soles of the feet back in that Baddha Konasana together. Good. Little bound ankle. And let's do little butterflies. Feel the inner groin here. And now we're going to try a little bit of balancing here. So I want you to lean back with your ankles. Lean back and find your ischial tuberosity. So you're sitting back. Find your core here. All right. So if for any reason this is too much for you, put 1 foot on the floor, or you can hold on to your knee. So I want you can modify that if you need to. But if you have balance here, focus. See if you can extend 1 leg out to the side. Good. You can hold on to your ankle. You can hold on the back of your leg, or you can grab onto the big toe. And whatever works for you. Come back to center, and you're going to do the opposite leg. Extend, press through the heel of the foot. Relax your shoulder blade. Remember, you're sitting on your ischial tuberosities. Try not to roll back into that posterior tilt. Lift your sternum, lift your heart. Come back to center. And we're going to try both. You don't have to do both if you don't feel you can manage it today. Just stay with one and the other. But if you want to try both, go right ahead. Press through the heels. Relax your shoulder blades. Lift your sternum. Lift your heart. And now draw in. Draw those pelvic floor muscles. Feel that engagement. Squeeze everything in and up. And then as you relax, release the bandha. Lower your legs. And then extend your legs out. And give yourself a little, just shake it out. Slide your hands down your shins. Come into a gentle forward fold. Breathe in and breathe out. Make your way back up. And then slowly make your way onto all fours. Okay, so you're going to come onto all fours. As you come onto all fours, I want you to find a flat back. So your palms are underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. But I want you to bring your awareness and intention to the back of your sacrum and this area here. So feeling that you can find the stability right and left. So if you shift your hips to the right, just feel how the pelvis shifts to the right. Feel that. Come back to center and shift over to your left. So I just want you to play around with that. As you do that, you feel the sacrum and the shift through the back of the pelvis. And then come back to center. And then notice we're going to do cat and cow. I want you to pay attention to what you notice or feel in the back of your sacrum through the bones. So as you inhale, lift your tailbone up, right? And broaden your collarbone. And see if you can experience the widening effect of the hip bones as you come into your cow pose. And then when you make your way into cat, just notice the sensation between your hip bones as you come into cat. Squeeze, lengthen your tailbone, crown of the head comes towards the floor, you round your back. But focus on the area around your pelvis as you move in and out of this pose. I just want you to bring that intention to the movement. As you inhale, lifting your tailbone, broadening your collarbone, but focus on the expansion between the hip bones. You almost sense that there's a widening, broadening in the back. And then as you come into cat, perhaps you notice how the hip bones feel as if they're narrowing. We'll do that one more time. If you don't feel it, that's okay. Just inviting you to bring in your attention to the sensation in the back, the pelvis, as you move back and forth between a familiar pose. Finish with an exhale and find your neutral spine. And then I'm going to invite you to widen your knees as wide as your mat, big toes touching. And again, pay attention to the sensation in your hip bones as you press back. Feel the broadening and the widening of the hips. You can rest your forearms on the floor or bring your forehead to your mat as you press back into child's pose. And if child's pose doesn't feel accessible this way, try puppy pose, where you broaden keep your hips over your knees, forearms on the floor, and feel that also. Just even try that and notice the difference. And see if you can just feel that in the back of your pelvis, that widening between the hips. Good. And then come back up onto all fours again. Find your neutral position. And now, this next move, we're going to really try to get into the piriformis, which is a muscle that supports the low back and sacrum in a way. So the way this is going to work, I'm going to explain it first. You may want to just pay attention. You're going to, I'm going to work first with my left leg. I'm going to bring my left knee across towards my right elbow. So there's a little bit of a cross body movement. And then when I extend it out behind me, I'm going to extend it out on a diagonal out to the side and externally rotate my foot. So my toes are going to externally rotate, meaning bringing my toes up. That's external rotation. Internal will point my toes down. External is pointing my toes out. So I'm going to bring the knee in, across towards the opposite, and then I'm going to extend out in a diagonal and point my toes up. And you're going to feel that right in the back of the glute, and try that with me now, okay? So you're going to bring your left knee across towards your right elbow. You don't have to touch the elbow, just move in that direction. Then extend the leg out to the side on a diagonal and externally rotate at the hip joint, pointing your toes up. I'm going to do that again. Do that again. Elbow to knee. Extend the leg out, externally rotate. You'll feel that in the back of your hip. One more time. Knee towards the elbow. And then externally rotate through the hip. And then come back to neutral and come off your hands. So the piriformis is a muscle that's right in the back here. So we're trying to, it's a horizontal muscle, and we're really trying to get deep into that muscle with that particular move. All right, so we're contracting and extending. Good. Shake out your hands or rub your palms together. And we're going to do the opposite side now. So palms underneath your shoulders. So the same idea is you're going to bring your right knee across towards your left elbow. Extend the leg out on the diagonal, but rotate the toes up. That's an external rotation. Then bring the knee in and across. Extend out and externally rotate. Again, knee across and then out, externally rotate. You're going to feel that deep in the hip, in the glute, and then across. And extend out. We'll do one more if you can. Bring it in, across, extend out on the diagonal, and externally rotate. Good. And then lower the knee, come back up to center, shake out your hands. Good. And now we're going to extend your right foot forward. Press through the pelvis. Now you're going to feel the stretch through the hips. Draw the pelvis forward. Good. And then shift back. As you shift back, we're straightening the leg. Work that hamstring stretch. And we'll do that 2 more times. Bring it forward with your fingertips. This is dynamic lunge. And then shift your hips back into a hamstring stretch. We'll do that 1 more time. Bring it forward. As you do that, lengthen your spine and look towards the front of your mats. So your gaze is looking forward and out. And notice if your left hip is sagging in. If you're really dropping and putting too much weight into that, you're overstretching. So I'm going to invite you to just gently bring attention to the left hip and see if you can sort of engage your core so that you're not putting all your weight into that pelvis and just dropping in. I want you to feel a sense of control there and a lengthening at the same time. And then slide your right hand up to your right thigh. I'm going to initiate a twist. So slowly start to twist and look over your right shoulder. Lengthen your spine as you do that. Keep the spine long, hand on the thigh as you open up. If your right arm feels comfortable to flow up, you can extend it up towards the ceiling. And if your gaze wants to follow your hand, go right ahead. Reach up towards the ceiling, nice pivot, twist through the spine, inhale. And then as you exhale, lower that hand to the floor, shift your right leg back, and press your hips all the way back towards your heels again. Stretch out your spine. Notice how that feels. Bring your attention into that low back and sacrum, and see if you can find a balance right and left. As you inhale, come up to all fours and now step your left foot forward. Knees and toes always go in the same direction. And we'll do the same dynamic flow as you bring the pelvis forward, knees in alignment, knees and toes. And then as you exhale, shift back, straighten that leg, even flex your foot. If you're very flexible, you can bring your torso towards the knee and then work your way forward again. So we move dynamically for a couple of flows. Press through the pelvis without dropping all your weight into that right hip, but shift the weight back as you come into your hamstring stretch. Feel that stretch through the back of your leg. Flex your foot, really encourages that stretch. 1 more time, come forward. And as you come forward now, I'll invite you to bring your left hand to the left thigh. Lengthen your spine, nice and long. So you create an elongation of the spine. And then when you're ready to start to spiral through the rib cage, through the shoulders, through the neck, look over your left shoulder. If you're finding any difficulty, sometimes placing your hand on a block creates a little less feeling that you're crunching into the back. So go right ahead, experiment, see what feels better in your body using the block. And then if you choose to extend that left arm up towards the ceiling, go right ahead. As you pivot, beautiful extension, strong fingers, lengthening your arms, nice big expression there, beautiful. Take another breath, deep breathing. And then when you're ready to lower the hand, come back. Slide your left foot back to meet your right. Palms flat underneath your palms, underneath your shoulders, shoulder blades down the back. Walk your knees out behind you a couple of inches. We're just going to play a little bit here by pressing your hips back in puppy dog. And then you're going to come forward and through, dropping your pelvis towards the floor. If your hands are okay with this, lift your sternum and look up, and then round and press back. I'm going to do that a couple times. So we're doing a mini flow, kind of between a puppy dog and a high cobra. And press back. If you find this is too much on your wrists, please feel free to come onto your elbows. But if you can hold, press the tops of your feet into the floor, shoulder blades down the back, look forward and up. And then when you're ready to release, round the back, come into that cat pose. Lower your forearms to the floor, puppy dog. Hips lifted up. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to make our way back to plank. So come shoulders over the wrists. Step your right foot back, left foot back, plank pose. Feel the strong core here. Engage your core. Back of your neck is long so that you're looking down at your mat. And then soften your knees and lift your hips, your pelvis up towards the sky. And as you're doing that, notice the expression of the pelvis expanding. You might notice it, you might not, as you come into your downward dog. See if you can find stillness in your downward dog. Legs do not have to be totally straight. Your knees can be slightly bent. And then slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. So we're going to go into a forward fold. Walk feet about hip width distance apart. Grab onto your elbows and let yourself hang here, side to side. Just gently stretch your spine. And then I want you to place your thumbs in the creases of your thighs, between your hip bone. And feel this as you come up, slowly as you lift up. Just notice and feel how the pelvis starts to shift as you come up, stacking your pelvis over your hips. Again, try to find that balance, neutral. So maybe tip your pelvis forward. This is, as you tip it forward, you're dropping your tailbone, right? That's posterior tilt, and then tip it, lean forward. As you lean forward, that's the anterior tilt, right? And then find your balance, if you can. You're neutral. Even I shift my weight right and left just to see, and then see if you can find that neutral position for you. Feet flat on the floor, four corners of your feet grounding down. Good. And then just let your hands come down by your sides. So we're going to just take a moment here to get into the physical body in a little bit of a meditative state. This little movement here. So I'm going to invite you to palms open. We're going to out to the side. And just take a moment to drop into the physical body. Notice whatever it is you're noticing. We're going to inhale and gather the energy in, palms towards each other. As you exhale, let your hands slowly rise up in front of you about shoulder level. Now inhale, open your arms wide. And as you exhale, contract, palms towards one another. Now as you inhale, I want you to bring your hands in, so you bend your elbows, inhale. And then as you exhale, press your palms away. Inhale, lower. Exhale, disperse. Let the energy go out. Then inhale, gather. I'm going to repeat. Exhale, rise. Inhale, open. Exhale, contract. Inhale, draw in. Exhale, flow out. Inhale, lower. Exhale, disperse. Inhale, gather. Exhale, lift. Inhale, open, expand. Exhale, contract. Inhale, bring your hands in. Exhale, palms out. Inhale, lower. Exhale, disperse. Again, just stay with the flow. Inhale, gather. Exhale, rise. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Inhale, bring in. Exhale, palms out. Inhale, lower. Exhale, disperse. We'll do that one more round. Inhale, gather. Exhale, rise. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Inhale, bring your palms in. Exhale, flow out. Inhale, pull. Exhale, disperse. And just take a moment here, let your arms come down by your side and just notice that energetic, what's going on in your nervous system. And you just take a moment to slow down and just pay attention to those physical sensations now in the body. Now I'll invite you to separate your feet a little bit wider. And we're going to bring your hands to your hips. And we're just going to shift the weight to the right and to the left. Just notice how that feels. Notice now as you start to circle, you're going to see if you can find nice and slow. You're going to go forward, side, back, side. Notice if there's sticky places and what's going on in the sticky places. Meaning you might notice as you start to shift your weight, something might feel a little sticky. What's going on in that hip joint? What's going on in what's that muscle? Just notice. It's just bringing awareness. There's nothing wrong with this. This is just trying to bring sensation and awareness to what's maybe happening inside your body. Maybe something you need to pay attention to. Good. And then the next time you come around forward, then you're going to reverse. Go the other way. And you might notice it'll be different on the other side. Maybe that sticky spot's smooth going in this direction, and the stickiness might be somewhere else. So this is all just noticing what's going on in the pelvic area, the pelvic region, your hips. Just bring awareness there. Awesome. And then make your way back up to center, both feet parallel. Bring your hands down. Let's take a moment again to just assess, bring awareness into the physical sensations of the movement and just noticing what you notice. And now as we inhale, you're going to sweep your arms all the way out and up. Exhale, bring your hands down into your heart. I'm going to do that 2 more times, and then I'm going to start to move. We're going to do a little sun salutation. Inhale up. Exhale, hands down to the heart. And if you're not already facing the short edge of your mat, change your direction so you're facing the short edge of your mat as you gather your hands up. As you exhale, come forward into a forward fold, and then bring your fingertips down to the floor. Bow your head down. And then as you inhale, you're going to step back, okay, into your downward dog. So make your way into your downward dog. We'll all meet up in downward dog. Find your breath in downward dog. Press the press the glutes, your legs and thighs back. Create length in your spine and find the balance from right side, left side. Slowly shift your weight into the left leg and lift your right leg up to the sky. And then I'm going to invite you to bend your right knee and roll that hip open so you feel that opening in the pelvis. And circle that right knee 3 times. So again, as you circle, just notice the sensation in the hips. Notice if there's sticky spots. Notice how that feels. 3 times in one direction. And then you're going to roll the hip 3 times in the other direction. So take your time and just notice if it's smooth and flowing or if you're feeling sticky spots. No right or wrong here, just bring awareness into that right leg and then step your right foot forward up towards your right hand. Let the heel of the left foot come onto the floor and make your way up. As you make your way up, we're just going to reassess. Right foot is forward, right knee is bent, hands on your hips, your left foot back. I like to kick my heel out at a slight angle. So now, with your hands on your hips and your pelvis is at a slight angle, right? And what I'm encouraging is you need that slight opening in the hip and the pelvis. But what I'm going to invite you to do is to bring your hands to your rib cage and try to spin through your upper torso towards the front. But let that pelvis hang out there. Should feel very opening in your hip. You don't want to jerk that hip and pelvis around. That's when you get that congestion in the sacrum. So I want you to keep the hip slightly open. So the heel of your foot is kicked back a little bit, toes at an angle, right foot forward. But draw your torso forward and up, and then add the arms. So either you're in your warrior 1 here, arms open. Good. And then bend at your elbows. Let's just take a moment here. You're going to come into goal post arms. This is your inhale. As you exhale, bring your elbows to touch and bend into that knee. And then as you inhale, straighten the leg and open the arms. So we're going to do that 2 more times. Bend your knee, palms and elbows to touch. And then inhale, open. And then 1 more time. Elbows, touch. Inhale, open. Good. Now cartwheel your hands back to the floor and step back into your downward dog. Find your balance, right side, left. Draw your shoulder blades down so you really feel that connection through the shoulder girdle. Palms pressing into your mats. Back of the neck is long. Knees are soft. But transfer the weight into your right leg. As you lift your left leg up, you're going to bend your left knee. Feel that opening through the hip. And we're going to circle the left knee and feel that working into the joint of the left hip 3 times. Nice and slow. They can be small circles or big, whatever feels right for you. This is your practice. And then you're going to reverse it 3 times the other direction. Noticing again if there's sticky spots or if it's flowing nice and smooth. And then when you complete your 3 circles, you're going to step your left foot. So look forward, step it up towards your left hand, spin the heel of the right foot onto the floor, come up to your warrior 1 stance, hands on your hips. And again, notice how your right hip slightly back at an angle. Knees and toes of the left foot still pointing forward in alignment. But work through, keep that right hip slightly at an angle, but bring your torso through the rib cage, your shoulders forward, and extend your arms forward and up into warrior 1. Again, let the shoulders settle into the shoulder girdle. Sometimes I like to imagine that my shoulder blades are trying to put them into my back pocket, and that sort of creates a nice energetic connection to my back body without tossing my rib cage out in front. So Try to find that balance of effort and ease, stable and steady. Bring your hands into goalpost arms, and then elbows and palms to touch as you exhale. Inhale, open your arms and straighten your leg. As you exhale, bend your knee, elbows and palms to touch, squeeze, and then inhale, open. We'll do that one more time. Bend, palms and elbows to touch, and then inhale, open. Extend your arms all the way up now. And then as you exhale, we're going to cartwheel the hands down to the floor and step back into your downward dog. Take another moment here now. And now everyone, lower your knees to the floor. And I'm going to invite you to find your block. We're going to open up through the hip pelvis area a little bit more. We're going to try to go a little bit deeper into the hip. So block is handy. You're going to step your right foot forward, and the block will be on the inside of your right foot. So we're going into a lower lunge with the knee down. We're going to start here. We're going to move into the lizard pose. So I want you to pay attention to how that feels as you lower hands to the block, maybe even forearms to the block. So notice how that feels in your body. That really opens up the hip and pelvis. Sometimes I like to walk my right foot out to the side a little bit more towards the edge of my mat. Now, if I start to turn my toes, make sure your knees and toes go in the same direction as you do this. This helps to really open deep into the pelvic floor area, the pelvis, and you're going to really feel that in your hips. The psoas stretch in here is really deep. Find your breath. Take a moment. Good. And then slowly come back up with your hands on the floor. So this is the challenge if you choose to take this challenge. First off, I'll invite you to, with both hands on the floor, first tuck your toes of your back foot and lift your knee. So now you feel that you're in a low lunge. Notice how that feels. Good. Now lower that knee, lower it down to the floor. And now the next option is totally an option. You don't have to do this, but if you can, you're going to bring your right arm underneath your right knee. And you're going to let your arms fly out to the side in a variation of a lizard pose with airplane arms. Now, if you choose to, you can put your fingertips on the floor and lift the back knee, and then add airplane arms. So there's the real challenge here. You don't have to take it, but feel that opening in lizard with airplane arms. With or without your knee lifted is up to you. Lower your hands, lower your knee, take your time, and then bring yourself, slide your right leg back to meet your left. Maybe come up onto your shins and feel that openness, right? In the whole side of your body, there's a big expansion there. Just notice what you notice. A little bit of a challenge, but we're exploring and really opening up even more into this whole hip pelvic area with these very deep poses. So we'll try the other side now. So I'll invite you to step your left foot forward. Bring your block, if you would, to the inside of your left knee. And I'll invite you to bring your forearms onto the block. And as you do that, again, your left foot can move out to the side a little bit. But if you do that, make sure knees and toes always go in the same direction. And feel that opening right up through the hips. Big, big stretch going on here in your hip and pelvis. Breathe into the space. Nice big inhale and exhale. Create space. So as you're breathing into your lungs, still that sensation like you're breathing deep and filling up the whole pelvic region with your breath. Intelligently, you know you're just breathing into your lungs, right? But there's this idea in your mind's eye that you're really exploring deeper, creating more awareness and energy connection by breathing deep into the base to the floor of your pelvic region. And then slowly come off the block. All right, you can remove the block now. And now I'm going to just invite you to tuck the toes of the back foot underneath and lift the back knee up. And so here you are in a low lunge with the knee lifted. Notice how that feels. If this doesn't feel good in your body, lower your knee. And now everyone lower your knee. And then again, here's the next cue. You don't need to take it, but at lizard pose, you take your left arm and place it underneath the left knee. So literally, you're sliding your elbow under the knee for support. And the movement could be just airplane arms, sliding your arms out to the side. That's a big move. And if you choose to go deeper, I put my fingertips back on the floor, lift my back knee off the floor, and then I add airplane arms. So again, finding the balance between effort and ease, really grounding down through the floor. Lower your hands when you're ready. Lower your knees when you're ready. And then stretch your hips back by coming into a child's pose. You come onto your forearms, shift your hips right and left, and just notice how that feels. Big stretch. Good job. Great effort, everyone. Nice big hip opening stretch. We're going to slowly make our way back onto our backs. So I'm going to invite you to find your constructive rest pose. Feet flat on the floor. Shoulder blades down your back. Let your hands come down by your sides. Walk your feet a little bit closer towards your buttocks. And now I'm going to invite you to just do a couple gentle bridges. So as you inhale, lift the pelvis off the floor. Just bring your awareness into that pelvis region as you lift. And exhale, lower. Now, I like to sometimes just change my arm position here to help support me. So I'm going to invite you to bend at your elbows so that your fingertips are pointing up towards the ceiling. You're pressing into the back of your triceps. So press your triceps into the mat. And as you do that, now press into the soles of your feet. Engage there. The back of your head, the back of your skull is resting in the mat. Make sure you have no constriction in the throat. Just gently notice what's going on in your throat now when you engage these muscles. And now press the pelvis up using the back of your triceps to help support you. Lift the pelvis up as comfortable high as you can. And now, if it's available to you, you're going to transfer the weight into the left leg. Lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. Keep the pelvis lifted. Try not to shift and fall into that right hip. So use that energetic connection to lift and then lower the right leg. Transfer the weight into the right. But let's lower down and take a moment. So you release the back muscles and just notice what you felt there. And we're going to do the same thing for the other side. So remember, you want to press the back of your triceps into the mat. Soles of the feet really ground into your mat. The back of your head, you're looking straight up towards the ceiling. You don't want to compromise your neck, so look straight up. And then as you press down, to press into the soles of the feet, into the triceps, lift your pelvis. Make sure you feel fairly comfortable and supported here before you transfer the weight into your right leg and lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. Again, keep pressing through the triceps, keep looking up towards the ceiling, feel that engagement in the right glutes, in the right thighs. Good. Lower your knee and then lower your pelvis. And then gently gather both knees into your chest. Separate your knees as wide as your body and rock from side to side. And just notice how that feels. Good. Now place your feet back down on your mat. And now we're going to do the thread the needle variation. So take your right ankle, cross it over your left knee. But take your right hand and press the right thigh bone away from you. So you're going to feel a big opening in the crease of your right hip. So feel that opening. And once you do, just gently pelvic reset. Gently rock your hips side to side. Not a big move, just a small move. Notice how that feels now. We've done a lot of work in our hips today. Come back to center. And now without using your shoulders and your arms, I'm going to invite you to lift your left thigh up towards your chest. So you're doing the thread the needle without the arms. So try it without the arms as you gently guide your left thigh in line with your shoulder, and you're going to feel how that opens up that right hip and glute. If you flex your feet, you're going to feel a little bit more energy also in that move. So notice what you notice. No right or wrong. It's just being aware. Take one more deep inhale. And then as you exhale, extend, lower the legs. Put your foot on the floor. And now arms in a T position. You're going to gently lower your right knee towards the floor if you can. Make the adjustment. It doesn't have to touch the floor, but you're going to start to feel this opening across your left hip now. That's a nice big stretch here. Do the best you can as you lower the legs towards the floor. Feel that stretch. Take a nice big deep inhale. And exhale slowly out through your mouth. Release your right foot from your knee. And then slowly make your way back up, knees up. Shift your hips back to center. And now cross your left ankle over your right knee. Place your left hand on the thigh bone of your left leg and gently press that thigh away so you feel that opening now in the crease of your left hip joint. Gently rock from side to side, little pelvic reset, nice and slow. Come back to center now, and we're going to do the same thing with the lifting of the right leg now. Bring that right thigh in towards your right shoulder. You're going to feel that in the left hip. And that muscle you might really be noticing in the left hip if you're feeling that like I am. I don't know. Everyone feels something different. But that stretch in the back of the left hip is getting into the piriformis, which is a muscle that's often associated with sciatic pain. It's a really important muscle. And this is a wonderful way to stretch it. So breathe into now. I'm going to invite you to breathe into that space. Breathe deep into the space of your hip. Send your breath right into that muscle. Exhale out through the mouth. Lower your right foot to the floor. And now gently lower the left knee to the side. And you're going to feel that stretch coming across the side body. Your arms can be out in a T position for support. Take a big inhale through the nose. Sigh it out through your mouth. Uncross your ankle from your knee and gently make your way back up to center. You're going to readjust your position so you can get your hips and shoulders centered and extend your legs nice and long. We're going to do a nice long body stretch. Extend your arms overhead, stretch and reach. Take a great big inhale here. Fill your lungs all the way up to capacity. When you think you can't breathe anymore, sip in another sip of air and then retain the breath for just a moment. Feel the breath being retained. Hold your breath. And when you're ready to exhale everything out and release all that energy, just let it go. And just collapse on your mat without any effort. Just effortlessly rest in this position. And just notice what you notice. We're going to now get ready for our relaxation part of the class. So I will invite you to find whatever props you need to get into a comfortable relaxation. Please cover your body or use any props you need to be totally relaxed. Prepare yourself for relaxation. As you lay on a firm surface, allow your legs to naturally spread apart. Your arms are a comfortable distance away from your body. Palms perhaps are up and your fingers are slightly curled. As you support your head and your neck and cover yourself with a light blanket if you need to. As you invite your body to release all tension and soften into this pose. As we move into the flow of awareness practice, we will try to cultivate an awareness of an effortless breath as we find the gentle rhythm of a rise and fall of our each inhale and exhale to find a smooth, even, rhythmic breath. Try to invite the breath to release any trembling or any shakiness or any instability by releasing the effort from a deeper space within. Allow your breath to become a deeper, energetic pulse. The breath begins to grow smooth and even with each inhale and each exhale. And allow your breath to be synchronized to your own cadence. There's no need to shape your breath to follow my instruction. Allow this to be your breath. Allow it to be complete and deep as you invite your mind inward. All of these qualities begin to culminate as one breath weaves into the next. A seamless connection. In this practice, as you inhale, allow your breath to explore the farthest point of the upper extent of your inner space, all the way up to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, allow your mind to explore the extent of your inner space down towards your toes, so that your breath becomes a sweeping motion, sweeping upwards on your inhales and a sweeping downward on your exhales, as I guide you from point to point through this practice. As you bring your awareness down to your toes, inhale now from your toes up to your crown. And you reach your crown, exhale from your crown down to your toes, and just let that awareness flow. Inhale from your toes to your crown. Exhale from your crown to your toes. Inhale from your toes to your crown. And now exhale from your crown down to your ankles. Inhale from your ankles to your crown. And then exhale from your crown to your ankles. Inhale from your ankles to your crown. And exhale now from your crown to your knees. Inhale from your knees to your crown. And then exhale from your crown to your knees. Inhale from your knees to your crown. And exhale from your crown to your perineum, the base of your spine. Inhale from your perineum up to your crown. And exhale from your crown to your perineum. Inhale from your perineum up to your crown. And now exhale from your crown to your navel center. Inhale from your navel center to your crown. Exhale from your crown to your navel center. Inhale from your navel center to your crown. And exhale from your crown to your heart. Inhale from your heart to your crown. And exhale from your crown to your heart. Inhale from your heart to your crown. Exhale now from your crown to your throat. Inhale from your throat to your crown. And exhale from your crown to your throat. Inhale from your throat to your crown. And exhale from the crown to the center of your forehead. Inhale from the center of your forehead up to your crown. Exhale from the crown of your head to the center of your forehead. Inhale from the center of your forehead to your crown. And then exhale out through to your nostrils. Inhale from your nostrils to the center of your forehead. Exhale from the center of your forehead out to your nostrils. Inhale from your nostrils to the center of your forehead. Exhale from the center of your forehead out to your nostrils. Inhale from the nostrils to the center of your forehead. And now just release any explicit movement from point to point and just allow your body to rest. Allow your mind to rest in the entirety of its space. And then from this space, witness your breath as a pulsation of pranic energy. It's an extraordinary place of space, that inner space of consciousness within. And then I'm going to invite you to maintain this space as you begin to deepen the breath. Just feel that pulsation now of the breath at your navel center. And from there, just begin to bring small movements into your fingers and toes as you maintain this awareness of inner space. And now I'm going to invite you to gently roll onto your left side, and we're going to come up into a seated meditation position as we continue this practice in a seated meditative position. So find whatever props you need to sit comfortably, where your head and your neck and trunk are aligned in position on the floor, and make you feel stable and comfortable for the next 10 minutes or so as we just come into this part of the practice. Create a stable place. Your hands can rest on your knees. Let your hands rest comfortably on your knees or your thighs. Let your weight feel evenly distributed on your sit bones. And your legs are physically and energetically contained and grounded in service to the stable base. So establish a neutral alignment of the pelvis as a stable base of support, and try not to collapse forward or roll backward. Your arms are resting comfortably on your thighs or knees. Your shoulders are relaxed. Your neck is comfortably aligned with your spine. And just withdraw your mind from all directions and just become aware of your body and the space that it occupies as you become aware of the energetic awareness of a neutral vertical alignment in your spine, neck, and head. And then allow the body to naturally settle to find its stillness. Again, just observe the awareness of your breath now at your navel region, and try to establish that smooth, effortless, diaphragmatic breath. As the breath deepens to grow more subtle, invite your breath awareness to help your body release any physical tension or any chronic knots that you might be holding on to. And let the mind be consciously aware of your inner space, which we're going to explore in this practice of Aharana Pranayama, by allowing your self-awareness to travel to a series of different locations in your body. While you, with self-awareness, you're focusing at each location. You're just only aware of the feeling of the breath at each location. And that feeling, our self-awareness, and this pranic pulsation of each breath as a single experience emerging and subsiding from the location that we're focused on. At most location, we'll take one effortless breath. It's complete. It's composed of an inhale and an exhale. And I do invite you to still stay with the cadence of your own breath, to be natural as you're guided through these different points, rather than forcing your breath to be artificially short or long to match my instructions. So as I invite you to bring your attention to the center of your forehead, just allow your self-awareness to rest. Remain relaxed. Do not put any pressure on your eyes. And take 3 relaxed breaths here, as you invite your mind to feel self-awareness at the center of the forehead. And then bring your awareness to each of the following points as you take one relaxed breath, a complete breath. At the center between your eyebrows, take one breath. At your eyes, one breath. Your nostrils, one breath. Your throat, one breath. Your shoulders, one breath. Upper arms, one breath. Elbows, 1 breath. Wrists, 1 breath. Palms, 1 breath. Fingertips, 2 breaths. Palms, 1 breath. Wrists, 1 breath. Elbows, 1 breath. Upper arms, 1 breath. Shoulders, 1 breath. Throat, 1 breath. Heart, 1 breath. Bottom of the sternum, 1 breath. Navel center, 1 breath. Pelvic center, 1 breath. Perineum, 2 breaths. Pelvic center, 1 breath. Navel center, 1 breath. Bottom of the sternum, 1 breath. Heart center, 1 breath. Throat, 1 breath. Nostrils, 1 breath. Eyes, 1 breath. Eyebrow center, 1 breath. Center of the forehead, 3 breaths. On your next inhale, inhale from the center of your forehead to the uppermost extent of the awareness of your crown. Fill this space with self-awareness. This energetic quality of the inhale naturally concludes. And then on the exhale, allow the full force of the pranic awareness to flow down to the base of your spine as you exhale. And then as you inhale, breathe from the base of your spine all the way up through the crown of your head, and this flowing energy up and the sweeping energy down on your exhale. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. One more time. Inhale all the way up. And then as you exhale all the way down, just let go of any awareness of any control of the breath. Just feel that energetic awareness, that pranic awareness within your body. And then very slowly now, when you're ready, just bring your hands, let them float up to your heart. And find gratitude to the inner space that supports the body, the mind, and the breath. And acknowledge this pulse of life to your inner guide, your inner light. And then rub your palms together. And then I invite you to let your palms cover your eyes. And then as you gently open your eyes, just remind yourself of this inner world that's supporting the outer world. And when you're ready, release your hands to rejoin the outer world with this sense of awareness. As I wish you peace, Om Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. Namaste.